Parkinson. Please welcome David Parkinson, who is the director of the Canadian Coalition Against the Death Penalty.
Hi there, I'm Dave Parkinson, and in 1998, myself and Tracy Loring, who is here tonight, founded the Canadian Coalition Against the Death Penalty. Along with our work here in Canada, much of what the CCADP does is work directly with death row prisoners and their advocates around the world. And as a result, we're now in direct contact with the only Canadian on death row in the United States, Ronald Smith, and his attorneys. Now, shortly after the Canadian government's announcement that they will no longer be seeking clemency for Canadians on death row, in direct violation of the constitutional obligation to do so, we received a letter from Ronald Smith dated November 13th. And with his permission, we'd like to share a segment of that correspondence with you tonight. With regards to the most recent events, to say I was extremely disappointed would be an understatement. The original idea of clemency was brought to my attention by consular officials 2 years ago. I was told that the governor himself had brought up my name and circumstances, and that Canadian officials viewed it as an opportunity to approach him with the clemency question. They came to ask my permission to do so, which I of course agreed to. Then, 3 weeks ago, the governor was on the news talking about how he had been approached about clemency in a transfer home, and that he would be discussing it with officials during a trip to Edmonton. A week later, Stockwell Bay made the announcement that the Canadian government had reversed its stance regarding death sentenced Canadians. Now, to dislike or even loathe me is one thing, but to do a 180 on long-standing policy is something else. Since I am the only Canadian with a death sentence anywhere in the world, it is not very difficult to construe this as a personal attack. An honest evaluation leaves no doubt that it's purely a personal agenda on behalf of Day and Harbor. I just happen to be a convenient piece of meat to throw to the dogs and spark the debate back home. Now, he ends the letter with, hopefully the events taking place will be the start needed to bring Canada back into the 21st century and not straggling behind the U.S. in the 19th. I wish you all the very best. Sincerely, Ronald Smith. Now, for those of you who would like more information or would like to become involved in CCADP's work, you can visit our website at ccadp.org, where you can see the real faces and cases of many individuals facing the death penalty, not just in the United States, but around the world. In closing, I would like to add that when Mr. Smith did write this letter to us 2 weeks ago, he was the only Canadian sentenced to death anywhere in the world. Last Friday, that all changed. Last Friday, we found out about a Canadian citizen of Chinese origin, Chen Ningxi, being sentenced to death in China